Om Jai Jai Sai Ma, everyone, and just welcome. I trust that you were watching Ma's global call this morning, and I just invite you to tap into that. Feel it, expand it. Let's take a breath together in that. Let's open our hearts even more. Open our crown chakras even more. Open all your chakras, all your cells, everything to this, what is available for us. And as Ma shared this morning, I can breathe like we can breathe in America again. Just allow yourself to take a full, deep breath and release anything that's been holding you, been frightening, worrying you. And as you gaze into Mary Magdalena's eyes, feel this divine, feminine, powerful energy move and breathe with you. And smile. Like, yes, it's happening. Yes, we can see the light. It's happening. And together, as we just breathe a collective sigh oh, of thanks, of gratitude. And I was hearing Ma speak this morning, and my gratitude that Baba sent Ma to America for this time. And my gratitude that Ma said yes to Ma's soul, that Ma said yes to Baba, even though Ma didn't know in the 90s the fullness of Ma's role, which even to this day has gone beyond the beyond and is even unfolding even more. I am so grateful. And as Ma shared with us, Ma is grateful that we've said yes to support Ma because this is a mission that we, with our free will, say yes to. And so together, let us open our hearts and connect our Magdalena grid with each other as it expands and becomes stronger with each yes. Ma spoke of the vortexes that have been created for the work. And we know our role in that, our vortex that the divine feminine you can use to balance, to bring balance, to bring harmony, to bring peace, I invite you, as you look at Mary Magdalena, as you think about Sai Ma and Ma's role in Master Jesus, I know for myself, I wish and I imagine pranaming at their feet. I am so grateful. And I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. Om JJ Sai Ma. And so today we continue. We're in the fifth one, I think, right, Diane? Yeah, the fifth bow from the beloved companion. Diane?
And as we move into this fifth bow, I'd just like to take a moment and thank all of the Magdalenas who showed up for the election eve vigil. I'd spoken to us about the importance of that and bringing that energy together election eve. And during the day, on election day, I have to say it just frequently moved me to tears to witness your devotion. And thank you so very, very much. So much love to you. And now we'll start with our scripture piece for the day. Only when my master told me, when you have rejected the deceiver, can you pass through the hardest gate of all. To attain the fifth bow and the fruit of clarity and truth. Only then will you know the clarity and truth of your soul. And knowing yourself for the first time, understand that you are a child of the living spirit. And as my soul moved upward, I realized that I could no longer hear the voice of the world, as all had become as silence. I have to say that this is just one of my favorites. There's no doubt about it. The language in this one is so very, very beautiful. And so today we're going to begin with a discussion of truth. And for a quote, we go to John 8:38 from the New Testament. The truth shall set you free. So here we see this connection between truth and freedom. This statement has nothing to do with what we think about as something being factually accurate in the physical world. If that's how we interpret truth, then we significantly limit its divine understanding. Instead, we are talking about universal truth. The universal truth of an all-pervading spirit of love that is constantly animating all that is here, that light behind everything that we see and that we experience. Now, each one of the major religions agree that God is love, and this love is truth, while the rest of our experience, that fear that causes us to contract from life, pull away from the life that is here, it is an emotional and mental construct. It's not permanent. The problem is that we often attach ourselves to that which is part of the impermanent construct, i.e., what the Buddhists would call an illusion. That which will fade, that which will die. When we do, we move from knowing ourselves as this glorious, infinite, free, ever expanding essence to the small, little, limited human embodiment that often experiences fear. That's what we do. That's what it is that we do to ourselves. But truth, on the other hand, truth is changeless, infinite, and ever expanding. When you notice that when you turn your mind off, love, truth, freedom, they all expand. When you turn your mind off, fear fades. That's because love is eternal and fear is impermanent. So when Mary Magdalene passes this gateway in the tree of life, which is located in the throat, she is now in the realm of the spirit. Now, in the Hindu tradition, we know that they recognize the 7 chakras in the body, and that at the point of the throat, you move from any human constriction into that full divine expansion. That's why when we get to this week, guys, there's nothing for us to shift. You may have noticed that in the other weeks, we had a fear-based state to shift, but here we're inside of truth, and that is fear is an illusion. So once you pass this gateway, you know yourself as the spirit that you are, and you can then speak that truth through your throat. Another very famous piece of scripture is the word became flesh. And this teaches us that the divine and the physical, despite our experience, despite our illusion to the contrary, are actually one. And that is truth. And when you know that, you are free. Mary?
Thank you, Diane. You know, I'm thinking also as Ma spoke this morning, and Ma said, told the story of, or the illustration of how in India or in the East, Ma just has to sit there, doesn't have to speak. But because we doubt the truth of who we are, it's just such a foreign concept to us that it's the constant. And I would think if there were a counterpower to this truth, it would be to drop, as Ma said today, to drop the doubt that you're light. Just drop it. Drop it. And no longer, and drop it that anybody else isn't light. We're light at our core. I just loved Ma's teaching this morning. So let's move now to clarity. Rumi has a quote that everyone sees the unseen in proportion to the clarity of his heart, and that it depends upon how much polished your heart. Like, is my heart polished? Is my heart available? That's what sees the unseen. So whoever has polished it more sees more unseen forms become manifest to him. So what is clarity? It's the ability to experience clearly both what is seen and unseen. It is powered by truth, and it's a state of spiritual alignment and mental clarity that's birthed by this polished heart. In the beginning of Magdalena, we work with shield of protection. All these ways we block our heart so we won't be hurt. But a polished heart is open and loves, as Ma shares, for the sake of loving. It's open, unencumbered heart, which that quiets the mind and then empowers clear thinking and vision. And it allows the voice of your intuition to be heard. When you can't quiet your mind, you can't hear the voice of intuition. Why? Because the senses are so noisy and your mind is so noisy. it can conjure up all sorts of things based on what it knows, based on your past. Is it safe? Is it not safe? Will I make money doing this? Will I fail? It goes on and on and on and on. And also, in order to quiet the to tune into this voice, you must be able to quiet your body. And as Maz shared with us, the body has memory, the body has a story. It's the heart's tightening, beating faster, your throat's tightening, your body's sending you all these sensations. And then, of course, your mind will make a story about it. And you're, and you're, next thing you know, you're way over here. Okay. So for me, the way I think about intuition, the way that it's really guided me, and many of you may have heard this, I always think of like it's to my intuition, my soul. If I can tune into it, it's like tuning into a radio station. I'm either on AM, almighty mode, or FM, fear mode. Like there's really only two frequencies. Okay. And when I can flip myself and quiet my fear down, I can clearly get clarity and get my intuition. I can get it. It's the voice that says, "Come this way." It's a calling. It calls me somewhere. Or yes, that feels right. It's almighty mode. FM's got all the issues, all the stories. My heart's pounding or whatever. My stomach is tight. I'm in fear mode, and I know the other way I've heard it described is like your intuition, your soul will say, take a right. It doesn't say, don't go left, don't go left, don't go left. And so the game for me has always been recognizing why, like I'm in fear, my body's having a moment here, my amygdala's firing, my brain is flipping out, and then doing practices that will quiet it down so that I can hear this still small voice of my soul and get back on AM, get off of FM. For me, most of you know, I do tapping a lot, all the time. Whenever I notice my body's having a hard time or my brain is doing this or I'm stuck. And there's Diane, I know for Diane, she does many somatic type of things. She's into the body. And some of you may journal. Some of you may talk to a trusted friend. Some of you may go take a walk, listen to music, whatever it is to just move into meditation, of course, to just get the answers from this and to receive clarity. Okay. So what we'd like to take for you to do is we're going to move you now into breakout rooms and to look at, by the way, if you need French, please put FR on your name in front of your name so Michael can put you in the right rooms. I was supposed to tell you that earlier. Sorry, Michael. Okay. But what we really want you to look at is in what situations in your life do you lack clarity? And more important even than that, just a minute or so on that. But what actions you take or could you take that could move you into a state of clarity so that we can move into that. We're going to put, I think, 3 people in a room. You might have more. And we will give you 9 minutes. So that's like 3 minutes each. Okay. Michael will send the thing in when to switch. Okay. So you have about 3 minutes and really look at this issue of clarity. How do I receive clarity? You may even want to share a time in your mind or a time where you had clarity and even though everybody else may have been doubting you, you had clarity. I know you've all had moments of clarity. Your decision to join this program wasn't done something called you to it. So I know you have the experience of it. And then let's start to generate what kind of actions do you use to bring yourself back to clarity when you're over here on FM. All right. Oh, welcome back, everyone. So, how about let's go to the chat. Who would like to share something? Just put some stuff in the chat. We'll start there, and we may about clarity. What about your own clarity, your own intuition? Who would like to share something in the chat? Just make it to everybody so everybody can see it.
Oh,
There's the bells. Those would take them in.
thank you. I love that.
I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I can't even find an issue today. I like I don't like this one.
Get either there.
Maybe we were stretching it to even do an issue, right? Trust that true, Mimi's saying, trust the true inner voice. Also, wait. Yeah, patience. Yeah, I want to talk about that in a minute. The fruit, not clarity. The fruit, not clarity, is effortless. Beautiful. What else? When not experiencing knowing, trusting it will come in divine order. Beautiful, Catherine. I need more clarity with respect to my next steps in my professional life. I am due to revisit my goals. It's going to be fun. Good. Who else? Quiet in silence. That's what you guys do. Good. Being truly open to the highest answer for all. Good. With no attachment. We did really talk about attachment. Like, all of us, there used to be a saying I used to use, make me an instrument of your peace in an advisory capacity. like as if I know best what's supposed to be. And people used to laugh about it, but that was kind of my old way, like really no attachment, open me up to something higher. Clarity, good. Clarity, decisions seem so obvious, no ambiguity. Yes. Yeah, it's more and more allowing what is to be. Yes, Lillian. Not wishing to decide as I used to before, trusting and loving what is coming. Mhm. Anyone else? Wow, look at you. Sheila, for you, it's overactive mind. Yep. It looks at things from that multiple perspective. Then I get caught up in the confusion, the point I walk away and await profound awareness to emerge. Yep. Or the issue dissolves. Is there anybody here who, like, when you can't get clarity, you just go to bed? Like, you just go to sleep? Like, sometimes I do that. And there's, I was reading something.
Yeah.
I forget who it was about. It was about, oh, I know. I was listening to, the Chicken Soup for the Soul guy, that Victor Hansen guy,
Uh-huh.
but not Jack Canfield. So he said that what he does is he always has pad and paper next to his bed. He writes down the question. He goes to sleep. And when he wakes up, usually around 3 a.m., anybody notice that time? Immediately he writes down whatever comes to mind. Because he said if you wait till the morning, you'll forget it. So he has a habit. He makes himself like sit up and write it down, the answer. And he talked about how that doesn't fail him. Realizing the
If I can
clarity.
say something really quickly. So
Sure.
from a neuroscience standpoint, what they say it does is that it's like turning off your computer. You know how your computer just, is all confused and you can't solve the problem? Going to sleep has that same kind of effect on the brain, and it helps organize all these bytes.
It's like a reboot.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Claude has when I allow what is realizing that clarity is already in me and such a revelation. Meditate, Elena says, sit with myself, realize what's true for me and take action, have faith. Sometimes sometimes I take action without clarity. Who does that? Okay. And actions by itself move me to clarity. Interesting. Set the goal and date to get done, initiate the clarity. That's very true. Once you set a goal and you state an intention, the clarity starts to come to you. People come with different kinds of things. And again, just pay attention to the body. Am I on AM? Am I on FM? If I'm still on FM, this is not clarity. This is a little chaos. And breathe. Jenny says, when we sleep, the clarity bubbles up from the subconscious, which is where our intuition and higher mental faculty reside. Excellent. Happens often when I take a shower. Oh, that's a good one. Yep. Yeah. A song from Ma wrote itself like that in my sleep. The song and I had a fight in the morning because I didn't want to wake up to write it down, but the song one, I got up and wrote it down. It came complete with words and music and melody. Yep. Clarity arrives when you least expect it. Honoring my ego in decisions as one input. Yeah. And whether I'm making the decision from the fifth dimension. Danielle says clarity comes when she goes jogging. One input only. Beautiful, beautiful. Excellent. So just a few more points on clarity. The other thing about clarity, and some of you have spoken to it here, is you only get it's like a chess game. You only get clarity for the next move. Okay. And then they'll something else. That move will get you to the next move, will get you to the next move. Some of us think clarity means we know exactly what's going to happen. Of course, it's not going to fail. And you're going to make a lot of money with it. And da 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 da. Like, it doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. You don't, nobody gets all the blueprints. You get your next move. And as Ma shared today, Ma was told to come here. She wasn't given the whole thing of what was going to happen in America, although she had glimpses, little glimpses, this challenge, little clues we get. And the other thing I wanted to share about clarity is I remember sometimes when I would get all up in a about something. Even I can share with you creating the Magdalena program. With many different things were coming in from how it should be, whatever, blah blah blah. And I remember that the person I would call to talk about it with was Maggie. Many of you might not know that, but I would call Maggie and I would put my fears and just like talk to Maggie or about my concerns, or I didn't, and and I didn't know how some things were going to turn out, to be honest with you. I knew I knew it was I was being called to do something. I didn't know a lot of the details. And I remember Maggie sharing with me. And I just always kept it in my mind. Maggie said to me, everything will be revealed to you. Just trust it will be revealed to you in its right timing. And it just made me breathe easier. It just made me like, okay, all right, I don't need to know everything. The moment I'm to know, it will be revealed to me. And it really served me in the creation of this and in the tweaks we made to it or this or that or what's happened. It just comes to in its right timing. And that was such a lesson for me about having patience and creating the space and trusting the process. And I didn't have to have it all figured out. Um, and I'm really grateful to Maggie for that great teaching me and for serving me so well. So when you can't find clarity, sometimes it is helpful to just call somebody that you trust or that has that is on the same wavelength or higher. Maggie was for me was higher as far as I was concerned, and that somebody you can just explore and that can help you to get off FM and to come back into this AM, and somebody who has faith in you, somebody that has faith, that will support you in your mission or whatever the next thing is you are doing, your goals. Find somebody like that that can serve you, or a community like that. Your accountability partner maybe is like that, or your Magdalena circles are like that for you. It's so valuable, especially in this kind of time. All right. I just want to check. Somebody said our car's headlights only illuminate 100 feet ahead of us on our journey. That's a great metaphor. And clarity sometimes comes when I least expect it. Yeah. Yep. And from somebody you don't expect it from. Like somebody just says something to you and it's like, that's the answer to something I was asking over here, or it's on TV or a TV show or a radio podcast you're listening to. It comes. Ask and it's given is the teaching. All right, one last one. Take a step forward and see what the result is. Keep going or revise your plan. All right, so now Diane, let's move back to you.
So we're going to talk about a couple of other phrases that are really important that that is there in this week's reading. And the first one is to become a child of the living spirit. So inside of that, if you think what it's like to be a child of the living spirit, again, here is this experience of freedom, right? Really important though, because this gets misinterpreted. This phrase is not Master Jesus endorsing either emotional or spiritual immaturity. It is an endorsement of freedom, of truth. There's a similar phrase, the child of God, in the Chronicle of the Gospels, and often this phrase has been interpreted as though there's some patriarchal being in the sky that will solve everything for his children, and that we don't need to do anything. But if we do something that's wrong, we'll be punished and we'll be rewarded when we're doing something right. This is spiritual immaturity. We are birthed from and find our being in the living spirit. We are that living spirit in human form, in action. And just as the living spirit birthed us, so we birth this physical world collectively through our state of being, whether we're on, as Mary said, AM or FM, right? Through the emotions we have, the thoughts we think, and the actions that we take, we find our being in the world through spirit, because that's what we are. And spirit finds its expression in the world through us, because life is, after all, a paradox. Mary?
Thank you, Diane. Okay, great. And the other statement that's made in this section is all had come as silence. Next slide, Laura. So when we think of silence, we think of no sound is around us. Silence is a harmonious state of being where you're moving with creation and can hear the sound of silence. And it's easy to create that sound, to equate, that sound with nothingness. But there's no place where nothingness exists. So life is a paradox. In the nothingness of silence, everything exists. I'll say that again. In the nothingness of silence, everything exists. And the full creative power of the divine is present. To hear this nothingness of silence, we have to quiet our mind. To quiet our mind, we quiet our body, which quiets the emotions. And when we quiet our human frenetic energy of doing, we discover the essence of our being. And we awaken this Christ within us. And this is what Mary was experiencing when she went through this gate. And in that moment, the whole of creation moved through her. And it will move through us. This is the thunderous, omnipotent voice of God that is the stillness. That whisper, it whispers as our intuition. This is the lack of expression, which is the fullness of creation. Such a paradox. The realm of God, as we pass through this gateway, I am that I am. So cultivate the stillness, the silence. Diane?
Yeah. I'd invite you all to get comfortable in your chair, wherever you are. Just close your eyes. Begin to sink deep down into your body, into that universe of creation within you, deep down into your tree of life, moving all the way down to the soles of your feet. And there you discover these roots. Dive down them. Be aware of the wholeness of your body and the roots that anchor you down into the center of the earth, the ground of all being, the heart of Mother. And as you anchor yourself in Mother's heart, experience that light illuminating the roots, moving, coursing up the roots and back into the body, which is the tree of life. Experience that light move from the soles of your feet up to the tip of your tailbone. And there begin to breathe. Breathe fully. Breathe as you have not breathed for years. Inhaling. Pause, long, slow, gentle exhale as you descend into the body. Breathe in. And release fully here, fully present, activating now the love, the compassion there at the tip of your tailbone. Breathe into it. Breathe there, letting go, enlightening your root. Command this love, command this compassion, enlighten your tree and charge that light, expand that light with your breath of fire and begin. Release, and as you do, feel that light expand through the branches, the leaves of your tree. Experience yourself ascending in that light, rising up, up to the navel. And there at this next gateway, the second gateway, command wisdom and understanding. As you breathe again, longer exhale, then inhale. Command that golden light of ascension right there. And again, breathe. Breathe and charge wisdom and understanding that it may illuminate your tree of life. And begin. And relax. Experience the expansion of wisdom and understanding through those branches, through those leaves. Feel yourself rise up in that light. Past the second gateway and on to the third. And there at the gateway of the solar plexus, command the light of honor and humility. This is the power center. Honor and humility. Experience that golden light expand there. That we might know the fullness of our humanity and honor our divinity and our humanity, which beyond the illusion of our mind is one. And breathe there. Let's begin. Feel that breath of life, that light of life carry us up the Sushumna and into our sacred heart. Letting go, expand there, knowing ourselves as that strength, that courage that we are. And again, command that light, that divine light there in the heart. Feel that heart filled with the golden light, that sacred heart, as it mirrors that sacred heart of Master, mirroring that sacred heart of Mary Magdalena, becoming that light of illumination, that light of life, of the tree of life. Soften your heart with your breath. Long, slow, gentle exhale. Let it go. And as you soften your heart, feel the strength. Experience the courage. Allow those leaves, those branches to expand, enlightened by strength and courage. And now feel yourself ascend. In that golden light, it carries you upward, upward into the throat. This is the realm of spirit. Here, clarity and truth. Command them. Know who you are. Know you are a child of the living spirit. Feel that freedom. Let yourself go in the body. Feel it move out. Experience your infinity. You are your soul. Drop all constriction. Experience yourself expanding. Expanding with the truth, the clarity that is your essence, and bringing the mind into the heart, into the throat. Experience that unity, that oneness, that wholeness. As your body now is relaxed, as the body, the tree of life expands, you drop into that tenderness, that gentleness, into the temple of your body. And as you do, and here, all is as silence. experience that omnipotent, thunderous voice of God and the whisper of your intuition. I am clarity and truth. I am the living spirit. I am one with the silence that is God. I am that I am. And centering yourself in your throat and the word made flesh. When you're ready, slowly, gently, open your eyes. Om JJ Sama.
Let's finish with a quote from the next slide, Laura. No doubts, dear ones, no doubts. They will come again and again as clouds. Let them be. You continue your path in your sacred, beautiful heart. Doubts may come out and they must be transmuted so you can experience the clarity behind. Chant, feel the joy and peace. Chant, take moments of silence, mostly in stormy moments. Appreciate these moments because without them, there is no awareness of commitment, of willingness, awareness of your strength of being, of your divine consciousness. It is only through non-love that one experiences love. And there only will you discover yourself. Now let's move back just a little. I will just quickly give you your assignments because I really would rather leave you in this and we'll send them for you. So for your questions for contemplation this month with your circles. We'll put them in your Telegram group. Where do I experience doubt, confusion, lack of clarity? Just become aware, transmute. And what actions can I take to create some clarity? And what do I experience in the silence? Begin to share that, cultivate the silence and the joy of the silence. And then your meditations, of course, 30 minutes of meditation a day. We'll see if we get the Diane's meditation to you as soon as possible from this one. Path of Magdalena, you could use that meditation too. And activate these frequencies of truth and clarity. Practice the invitation. We're coming now, we're moving into our activation time. Continue to cultivate and strengthen your alignment with Mary Magdalena and experience your body when you feel doubt or confusion or a lack of clarity. Just experience it in your body and transmute it fast, lightning speed. You know, these steps throughout the day, they're just there to remind you, acknowledge, accept, welcome, end your relationship with this doubt stuff, send it back to source. It served you, activate some new actions and energies. Back to everyone. Let me put the whole group up, please, now. Thank you. Let's go back to the whole group. I thank you so much for joining us on this day. Very soon we have our activation, so make sure all your paperwork is in. There's some paperwork for that. You're reading your newsletters. And thank you for joining us on this glorious, glorious day here in America. I meant to share with you earlier also, I don't know, those of you who watched Biden's speech last night, at the end of it, if you stayed on, maybe you guys don't know, but watch it at the end. The first song they play is Higher Love. So I just, I laughed. I was like, oh my God. And I sent a telegram actually to Mom. Ma, they're playing your song. Do you know? Are you watching? And we were telegramming this morning. Ma, the work that Ma has done for us in America and for the globe, it's beyond the beyond. It's so beyond that maybe we'll know when we leave the planet. I don't know, but take me to higher love. Take the world to higher love. Ma's mission. Om Jai Sai Ma. Thank you for being here. I love you all. We got
Jai Sai Ma.
vision.
Jai Sai Ma.
Jai Sai Ma.
Jai Sai Ma.
Jai Sai Ma.
Thank you.
We heard Jai Sai Ma. Thank you.